Congratulations to Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. 1 million pay-per-view buys, according to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, he was on a radio show today and he was talking about the numbers that Benn and Eubank did over the weekend. And he's talking like, yo, these guys have done 1 million, man. And the number might actually rise. Do you know what I mean? It might not just stay in 1 million. These guys might actually do 1.2, 1.3, all the way to 1.5 million. Do you know what I mean? Which is a big deal. Not only was the fight great, like, not only was it an epic, a classic fight. Do you know what I mean? One of those fights that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole event. Do you know what I mean? Chris Eubank Sr. turning up, surprising everyone after we all thought he's not going to be there. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to stand next to his son, support him in, you know what, is arguably the biggest fight of his life, you know. But Uncle Chris turned up. He made it. Do you know what I mean? So, congratulations to the boys, man. They delivered the fight. Do you know what I mean? Great fight. They delivered in the ring. And also the numbers are not looking too bad. They're looking healthy. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about this. Let's actually talk about this 1 million pay-per-view buys that Conor Benn and Eubank have managed to generate. But before we do that, please don't forget, like I always say, to smash the like button. Drop your comments. I always appreciate you, my people, getting engaged with the channel. And I try my best to reply to everyone. It's not always possible, but I try my best to do it. And also, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers and you can help us get there so much quicker. So go ahead, do all the above. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go ahead and click the button. Do you know what I mean? But listen, let's talk about these 1 million pay-per-view buys. Yeah, I actually have to eat humble pie because in my fight prediction, yeah, I actually predicted that the pay-per-view buys for these fight wasn't going to exceed 300K. Do you know what I mean? I said it. It wasn't going to exceed 300K. I even had a bet with like 3 or 4 people. Do you know what I mean? I think it was like £20 bets, yeah? And I was like, nah, these two guys ain't going to generate more than 300K buys. Guess what? They've only going to smash it out the park. You know what I mean? And luckily for me, the people that I done the bet with, they haven't come back to me. Do you know what I mean? They haven't said anything. Maybe they haven't heard the news yet. Do you know what I mean? So I don't even know why I'm doing this video, because they're going to watch it and they're going to come back to me and say, yo, Enzo, we want our money. Do you know what I mean? So I hope for my sake they don't watch this video. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 1 million pay-per-views. That is actually an incredible number. Do you know what I mean? So many things happened to the lead up to this fight, like the whole build up here. I think he was able to attract the casuals, you know, like once you can attract people that are not into boxing like that, like every day, like they're not hardcore fans. If you can attract those people, yeah, you're in, you know what I mean? Like your game is game on. Do you know what I mean? It's game on. Like the hardcore fans can only take you so far. But once you start getting the casuals, yeah, now you're talking. Now you're talking. That's what the likes of KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, all these influencers, yeah, that's what they're able to do. They're able to get the interest of the casuals. That's why they dominate pay-per-view sales. Do you know what I mean? Pure hardcore boxing fans ain't gonna get you to that promised land. You need more than that. You need more than that. And I just feel like the whole build up, the whole slapping of the egg, do you know what I mean? Also, like, let's not underestimate Chris Eubank Sr. playing a role in this. Do you know what I mean? Him going out in the media, calling his son a disgrace, saying all sorts of things. I'm not going to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't support this. Like, he generated a lot of interest towards this fight as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, one thing about publicity, yeah, like they always say, it doesn't matter. Any publicity is good publicity. Whether it's bad or good, is good. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as what people are talking about, whether it's negative or positive, as long as it's turning people's eyeballs towards your event, That's what you're already winning. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're getting people interested, you know? And also, like, let's not forget that entry by Chris Eubank Sr. and his son into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Like, I reckon, yeah, that probably sold a couple 100,000 pay-per-view buys alone. Because I can remember when I was watching that, I think there was like another hour, an hour and a half to go before the main event. Or 2 hours. Let's just say 2 hours before the main event, Eubank Sr. arrived, you know, alongside Junior. Do you know what I mean? Walking side by side. And that was electric. The whole crowd went mad. You know, even at home, I was a bit emotional. I was like, yo, this is crazy. What a moment. Do you know what I mean? It's going to go down as one of the greatest moments in British history, in British boxing history. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that. We're never going to forget that moment. Like, that just sold the fight itself. Like, the fight was already on. These guys were going to get it cracking and everything like that. But that entrance by Eubank Sr. should never be underestimated. Like, that alone, yeah, I'm sure when people heard about it, like, they were like, yo, let me just buy the pay-per-view, man. Do you know what I mean? Uncle Chris is turned up, I'm buying the pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people probably did a lastminute.com. They bought the pay-per-view as soon as they heard Uncle Chris is in the building. Therefore, yeah, now he's game. Do you know what I mean? Let's not underestimate that moment. That probably just pushed that fight over the 1 million. Do you know what I mean? What an incredible moment. But listen, both fighters as well, man. Like, Chris Eubank Jr. like, was very entertaining. Like, Chris Eubank Jr. wasn't the most liked guy in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Boxing, a lot of people take the mickey out of him. They say, oh, he can't box. He can never elevate to what his dad achieved. And you know what? A lot of it, it's not his fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, Chris Eubank Sr. was a hell of a fighter. He was a great fighter. It was always hard, yeah, for his son to follow in that same footsteps, like to be a success like his dad was. Do you know what I mean? And it's always unfair, yeah, on kids like that have dads who are great athletes. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking like people like Michael Jordan, like, look, where his kids at? Like LeBron James, like everyone's looking up like to his kid, Bronny, like, can he be as great as his dad? You look at someone like a David Beckham, his kids are not that good. Do you know what I mean? Like, very successful athletes, sports personalities, like, it's very hard for the kids to emulate like exactly what their parents achieved. Like, it's hard. And it's always unfair because we judge them by the same standards that we judge their parents. Like, it's not fair, innit? We should just appreciate Chris Eubank Jr. for who he is, what he's achieved, and just applaud him for that. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be thinking about Chris Eubank Sr. whenever we see his son. You know, but I know for some fans, it is hard to get that out of their like head. Do you know what I mean? It's hard for them to differentiate, but I can do that. I can appreciate Chris Eubank Sr. for his greatness, and I can also appreciate Chris Eubank Jr. for what he's achieved, even though he hasn't achieved the level of success that his dad did. But I still appreciate him for being a hell of a fighter and a warrior, you know? And I really do hope for Chris Eubank Jr. he gets a title fight in the near future, because I feel like he's deserved it. Once you put in a performance like he did last Saturday, do you know what I mean? And also he took a lot of damage at his age. I just feel like, yo, one more crack at the world title. Try and win that. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't, unlucky, life goes on. You move on. Do you know what I mean? But Chris Eubank Jr., he put on a great like entertainment. His entertainment value was great in the build-up. Like, everything he did, like, with the excellence, everything he did, like, just sold the fight. And I'm sure a lot of people now in the UK, not even in the UK, just the world of boxing, even like overseas in America and everything like that, I'm sure they appreciate Chris Eubank Jr. more now. Like, he's got a lot of admirers now, a lot of people that will respect him, yeah. They'll respect his talent, they'll respect his grit, and they'll respect that he's a warrior. He goes out there, he leaves everything in the ring. Do you know what I mean? So the same goes for Conor Benn as well. Like, he's a 147 pounder. Went up to 160 and he gave a hell of a performance. Do you know what I mean? I really thought like in an 11th round he was going to get knocked out, but nah. He beat down on that gum shield and he was swinging like there was no getting knocked out. This was for legacy. This was for family. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't going to let his dad down. He wasn't going to get knocked out in front of his dad. Neither of the fighters. And it was great entertainment value for us, the fans. I loved every minute of it. Now, because this fight is done 1 million pay-per-view buys and he's probably going to exceed that, get about 1.3. I'm just wondering, like, with Eddie Hearn's a businessman, Ben Shillon, they're thinking, they're probably rubbing their hands. They're thinking, listen, in the day of piracy, do you know what I mean, where people are just streaming fights, etc. We did 1 million legit buys. How much are we going to do in a rematch? Do you know what I mean? They got the business mind, the hats on. They're thinking, yo, how much? We could do 1.8, 2 million in a rematch. I understand that logic. I understand that thinking. But I'll counter that by saying, like, a lot of people tuned in because of the unknown. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is like it's like kind of like a gimmick type of fight. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you go out someone who really should be fighting at 168 pounder super middleweight, and you go like a 147 pounder, like a welterweight. Do you know what I mean? Like, we wanted to see this fight as the unknown, and also nostalgia. Like, their parents, we admire their parents. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank Sr., we admire them. They had great wars. So we always want to see, yo, what will happen if the kids fall? Do you know what I mean? But that factor is gone now. That's not there no more. That's been eliminated. Like that great moment when Chris Eubank Sr. walked in with his son side by side after he dissed him, after he called him a disgrace, that's all gone. That can't happen no more. That surprise element is gone. We've seen it already. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think the numbers will be as big if the rematch. Obviously, they'll still do decent numbers. I reckon they'll do like 800,000. But I don't think they'll go beyond the 1 million mark. Like, I don't think they'll do 2 million, the way maybe Eddie Hearn and Ben Shillon are thinking. They won't do that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they'll do decent numbers. Do I want to see the rematch? I don't mind. Really, at this moment in time, I've rewatched the fight. I don't mind if they do the rematch. And also at the same time, I don't care if they don't fight again. To be honest, what I saw last Saturday for me was enough. It was a great contest, classic fight. I'll always remember it. I'm glad I was alive to watch that fight, and I'll tell my grandkids about it. But if it doesn't happen again, I wouldn't care either. Do you know what I mean? I'm just happy that both guys are healthy, and you know, I want to see them move on. I want to see Conor Benn go back to 147, you know, go for a title shot, and I want to see Chris Eubank Jr. get a title at super middleweight or even a middleweight. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him get a title shot. If he wins, great, fantastic for him. If he loses, listen, he's earned enough money. He's proven that he's a good boxer. He's a warrior. He can walk away into the sunset and still be happy. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'm really going to say about this. But yeah, guys and girls, let me know, man. Let me know in the comments what you think about these 1 million pay-per-view buys for Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Was you expecting that? Are you like me where you thought, nah, they can't do more than 300K? Now, be honest. When you drop a comment, be honest. Now, I mean, don't be switching now that you see they've done numbers. Be honest. Eat your humble pie like I had to do. Do you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments, you know, what you think about the whole thing. I'll really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I'm your boy Enzo. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.